Okay, hello, how are you? Let's get into this. Bat and porcupine. A lot of death energy has been coming up lately. Venus is in Scorpio already. Has been for a little while. I feel some resistance around that death energy. Wow. Rhino spirit. Deer spirit. Dolphin spirit. Turkey on the bottom. Interesting energy. Give with grace and gratitude. Overcome any obstacle for the divine feminine. And bring a gentle touch to the deer for the divine masculine. And then in between you have this and that are true. Let's get, I was going to do something weird today. So we have surrender and remember your identity here for the twin flame. Clear energy blocks and surrender. Time to forgive. Follow the signs. I did a little TikTok this morning, and that's definitely one of the things that was coming through is that there were a lot of signs for the masculine, and he was like trying to kind of play it off that interesting, that they weren't like that you were doing a spell or they weren't what you thought, and he's come to realization that they are indeed. You know how it gets when you're not paying attention, they'll just do it more and more. Spiritual awakening, shift or be shifted. Can't make it up. This has made him consider everything. Look at false twin flame says on the masculine side 2-2, intense change. He's realizing something, path of least resistance, choose ease and grace. And interestingly enough, it's the black and white flag, which I've been seeing, and then the high priestess is awakening personal empowerment. Very interesting. I think the masculine thought he was in control a lot of the time. King of Swords, the Hierophant. And he's coming to figure out he really wasn't as in control as he thought he was. King of Swords, Five of Wands. Meaning, part of this universe, you know, is going to do what it does. Page of Pentacles. Queen of Wands and Five of Wands. Okay, half of them fell out, so let's just redo. Nine of Swords, interesting. There's a lot of pain being without you. And it's interesting because I think you used to be like the deer energy, the very gentle energy, and now you've had to grow this horn on your head. Page of Pentacles, Four of Wands, Six of Cups, Justice, with the light bulb, and the Empress. I've never pulled this card. This is a very interesting card. Very interesting with the double moons. Ace of Cups, Two of Pentacles. I love that they use clouds on so many of these. Eight of Swords, King of Swords, the Devil in reverse. He might have thought you were actually against him. Look at more moons. Ten of Wands, King, Knight of Pentacles. The Star in reverse. That's been coming up a lot lately. Star in reverse. So, middle of this reading is the Six of Cups with the Eight of Swords reversed. So interesting. It's like, I just saw Queen of Swords. Almost like he used to think you were like his downfall, and now he's realizing it's like you're his salvation now. That's all very much hyperbole there, right? Like, you're neither of those things. That's my 10 of Cups, or 4 of Wands, patience, and adjacent possibilities with the throat chakra upright. A victory. So very much a 6 of Wands energy with the garden and the gate. Interesting. He wants to be free, but does he? He wants to be free, but does he? As with almost everything with the Divine Masculine, underneath it all seems to be a wound of hurt about not feeling like they're enough. And probably also for the Divine Feminine. I always do this with these cards. I like tuck them way under, and then I don't know the deck well enough to know the card. I love this deck. It was like a really weird way I found it. And it found me, I guess. And then it's not like any other deck, honestly. I thought it was just basically like a standard mass-produced deck, and then it's just so many layers in this deck. Look at that. So, wow, oh my God, oh my God, you can't make it up. You just can't. 3 sets of 2. And then the Fool card. Bottom of the deck is another red. I did have it once, I think, a long time ago, when all the reds came out, and once when all the purples came out. Intense feelings, intense heart chakra activation, extremely intense high and low heart synchronization. I mean, you saw me shuffle. You can't make this up. It's just crazy. It's almost like feminine, masculine, and then the center. And in a lot of ways, I feel like there's a healing of, you may have recently had to like look back at some family memorabilia or heirlooms or just memories. I feel like it's a physical, tangible thing with this olive green here, but it's like, you may have blamed your mother, you may have blamed your father, you may have blamed their marriage, you may have blamed their divorce, you may have blamed a lot of things, right? But I get this feeling from you, especially, that you're just like, if it's going to be, it's up to me. If I'm going to love myself, it's gonna be because I love myself. And it's not gonna be because I convinced my father, or I convinced my mother, or I convinced the universe, or my spouse, or my friends, or my job. I'm not going to convince anyone to love me when I'm not loving me. Actually, I think I shot a video about this on Friday and never posted it. Because I didn't feel like the message was fully like fleshed out. Oh, but I'm getting it now. A lot of love comes through confronting the fears, confronting the not enoughness, confronting this Empress in reverse with the devil, right? There's a lot to confront here. Most especially, forgive yourself for if there were times where you chose a path and you look back and you're just like, I wish I had chosen a different path. I wish I had whatever it is you thought you were lacking at the time. Maybe you were too prideful. Maybe you didn't have enough wisdom. Maybe there was a clouded judgment. Maybe whatever, maybe there was fear at the heart of it all, right? Which is, like I said, underneath all of his stuff is a wound of not enoughness. under that all is this belief that I don't know how to make my own decisions and I'm not competent. And that probably stems back to a lot of what I'm talking about here with the mother and father, and the belief that child is such a weird thing when I look at it from an energetic standpoint of like the psychology of manifesting. Because manifesting is so literal and so practical, and yet we are such complex, layered beings with such an in-depth psychology, and we have so many coping mechanisms to continue on even though we have pain, right? Like an animal gets injured and it rests and it tends to its injury. It doesn't like put up a false wall, aka like a band-aid on the heart, and then pretend like everything's fine and go on. Now, the wounds that we get in childhood, this is a real tirade here, okay, we don't have a frame of reference to know what the heck's going on anyway. It's not like we really can sit around and talk with our friends and compare. That's not really what most like 6 or 7-year-olds do. Maybe it happens like with your sister or brother or something, and they have more perspective and are older, but you, for the most part, before the age of like going to school especially, you think that what's happening in your house is the normal way things are. Maybe you're watching TV and you're like, that's not my life, you know, and escaping into that life. And then you're kind of, but even then, it's like you don't really reflect on the psychology, because that part of your brain isn't even developed. The psychology of why are things so messed up here? Why am I being blamed for things that, like speaking my mind, like wanting what I want, even though there's not enough money, or trying something new and failing, like why, or like playing my best at soccer, but getting like, and my parents pretending that they're happy, even though we lost, and then in the car ride home, it's like an entirely different story. Like, these are things I've heard from people, right? And that sticks with you in so many psychological ways where you don't even think about it. It's like you may have learned, well, there's one face in public and there's one face in private. And that may be the way that you go about your life, not even recognizing it. And you may have be like, well, we don't share bad news, you know, from the family into the outside world, or there's just so many different scenarios that you could be operating on. So when we talk about manifesting a lot, we talk about things being spiritual truths before they're physical truths, right? So if somebody was looking from the outside, they would say you're telling a lie, basically. But a lot of coping mechanisms kind of work in the reverse. It's like people want it's the same but very different, right? It's like people present a face to us, or we present a face that's very different from how we feel inside. And this is what we would call, you know, personality disorders. In a lot of ways, those things are traceable back to how you were punished for actually being authentic as a child, okay? So always remember, I say it every time, I'm sure you're sick of me saying it, I haven't gone into a tirade like this in a long time, so there must be a big growth happening here. But it's like, parents were just people doing the best they could at what they had to work with. And we're not going to blame them for not healing, and we're not going to blame them. That's not this game. Because our game is growth, not blame, right? They hurt us, we've hurt people, and the growth that we're doing is so we don't keep hurting people, and we don't keep hurting inside. And, you know, healing is, in my opinion, and I'm not the penultimate expert on healing, but it's like, all it means is just to come back into wholeness of who you are. In a lot of ways, I think a very great definition for healing is right alignment, because alignment is, I would make an argument that alignment is the greatest spiritual term that there is. It's a pretty big statement. And I've never really thought of it before, but it always comes down to alignment. Always. It always comes back to alignment. It always ends up being a question of alignment. And alignment has components, right? And your masculine is learning something about the components of alignment with his heart, which is the most deep, in my opinion. The heart is the most protected. It's the most vulnerable. It's the deepest part. It's the most powerful part of your energy. And when we uncover it and when we go in there, right? First of all, it activates on this journey and you can't stop it. And so you can't ignore it. And it's different than your mind. It's like a dye that colors everything, right? You can't just turn it off. And he's learning something very profound about his heart. And that is the consequences of not speaking your truth. The consequences of speaking misalignment, or what we would call a lie. Because what is a lie exactly? It's something not aligned, right? One version. I don't believe in an objective truth, so I know a lot of people do. But what we're talking about is like somebody speaking differently than they truly feel, misrepresenting their alignment, right? And that causes an issue in you to take that as truth. And in a lot of ways, I would make an argument that that is literally what the devil or hell on earth is. When we're constantly having to question. It's just like so crazy how this all works together. Okay. I know they wanted some of these, so we're going to get some, but it's like in politics, we know as spiritual people that they're standing up, they're saying things. They may want to do those things, but the reality is they know that they're not going to happen in a lot of the ways. And yet, this is kind of the pinnacle of our society. Like, these people have reverence, these people have wealth, these people have power and authority. And we know that they are not being spiritually authentic. They are not aligned with the truth that they, when somebody gets up there and they are speaking the truth, we almost like cast them aside. Okay, I'm gonna move on. Can't make you happy, scared of rejection. Don't put up with my BS. Afraid to lose you. The passion is too much. How could you ever forgive the mess I made? They have hurt me. I feel like this is an interesting card here. This love is crazy. I long for your kiss. I need to hold my true feelings back from you. Do you see? I need to hold back my true feelings for you. This is what I'm talking about. I want to be different. I am the man. Painful memories. Why can't I move on from you? So I think at one point this is when from my TikTok reading, is like, I think at one point he felt like you put a spell on him. There was some sort of magic. It was karma. There was all this stuff he couldn't explain. And yet he maybe was intrigued with the magical side of this relationship. And DMs kind of love anything they can get attention from when they're in their, like, that validating stage. But I feel like they're just showing me like a thread being pulled, and it like from a sweater, and it's just, the sweater like kept him protected in a way. It was like a magical sweater. It was like almost armor, right? Like chainmail. But think of chainmail like a sweater, and you would just pull the thread, and it's just been unraveling and unraveling and unraveling until now it's up here above his heart, right? He's got his shoulders covered with this chainmail shirt, but his heart is uncovered. And he feels very vulnerable. He's had this huge light bulb, this huge revelation of, this wasn't you out to get him, this wasn't you doing something to him, this was not you against him. It's this understanding of like, that is a toxic relationship when it's you against them. And you were never like that. And that's why that felt so weird to him. Man, I love when the dots fall into place, because this is all stuff that's been like going on, and I can feel it all aligning. And then he realized something really profound, which has kind of been the message of the last week, is this lightning bolt of, oh, I did all of this. I ran away. I'm scared. I don't think I'm enough. I'm afraid to lose you, and so I push you away, or I'm the one doing the losing, because that's easier than admitting, you know, I want you and you go away from me, because there's a rejection wound here. And he hasn't wanted to deal with it. And he hasn't wanted to admit that how much hurt he's endured and how much hurt he's also done, right? Because when you wake up to this, like, I am a spiritual being full of light and love, and also I have a very dark side too, right? Because you cannot acknowledge your light without the dark part of you. And I have hurt people. I have done things I regret. There are all this, you know. And most of all, he regrets that the way he treated you. And it's kind of horrible for those of you that have been treated badly, right? You had to wake up from that. You had to wake up to, I'm not honoring myself. Why am I letting myself be treated like this? And, you know, we have the forgiveness card come up, and we have to forgive ourselves. We have to forgive them. We have to find, why was there alignment between the pain? This pain came together, right, to wake both of you up to the fact that you can't let other people be in charge of how you feel. Okay, I'm going to move on, but this is still going to play this very big role here. So they've had this revelation, and they're kind of sitting with it. Ready for this burden to be over. I feel like, you know, if you're at a spot in the road and there's 4 different paths, or let's say 6 different paths, and you're looking for this specific end to this trail, and you go down 5 of them, then you're back to the start again. I don't know how you know that they didn't end somewhere, but like, you're looking for something and you're back in the middle, and you've gone down 5, and now you have to go down the 6th one, and you're exhausted and you're hungry and you just want this to be over, but you're at like the bottom, right? And then, you know, you have to go down this last hard road, but you really don't have anything to give. This is kind of how I feel. It's like, look, see, these two people with masks on. He doesn't want to face this. He doesn't want to have these conversations. He doesn't want to look at himself in the mirror. He doesn't want to love. There's a big fear, big resistance. It's like a huge knot or block. And it feels like he's right at trust. Like right there. That's calling your soulmate. Let go of control issues. He doesn't want to do it, but he has to. He has to do this. Express your love very soon. Healing family issues. There are things he knows he has to do that will finally move him forward. And it's like, yes, he could keep distracting himself with 1,000 different options. Options that don't really mean anything to him and that will never produce anything. But being in control like that is very safe. You see? It is safe for you to love let go of control issues. He's kind of vacillating between those two things. But there's this part of him, and it's this very small voice that it's like, and this is very like past life to me, because I think there were many lives where you two lost each other early, and there were children, and or you whatever happened, and it's like there's some sort of pressure of time. It's like this can't go on forever, and I need to know. Even if you don't feel the same way, I need to know this is him. Even if it hurts me worse than I was hurt before. Even if, because we're only fearing those things we don't understand and those things that we haven't allowed ourselves to look at and feel. Like if you actually take that feeling out. Like let's say you have a feeling from your parents, your inner child has a feeling, because I've gone through all of this. There's a not enough, right? You know, I think almost all of you know I went through like verbal, mental, physical, and emotional abuse. And the worst part of that is that because you're so in so much pain that you've hidden when you've gone through this, the people that you attract into your life have a similar thing. And they will unknowingly gaslight you into thinking either it's normal or that it wasn't that bad. And when you finally face it, as a child, it was that bad. It felt like you may die. And so you've locked it up so tight. When you finally face it, you're like, oh, this really had nothing to do with me as a person at all. Like, yeah, I was doing stuff that they didn't like, but it was because of all sorts of different, social issues that they had, that they were carrying down, and their inability to like actually speak and reason with me, and all of the things that you can see. Like, you can process it as an adult much differently if you allow yourself to look at it and to get some sort of support where someone in your life is not going to gaslight you about it, right? I'm not saying people don't love you, but they have their own limitations in the way that they can support you. Okay. So your masculine has to decide to look at this stuff because his fears are so exaggerated that he's not even being able to, it's like he has to love himself, first of all. He's got to open up that protection on his heart. And we did have that. It's right here on the top. He's got to open it. You know, you did that, first of all. I think you even, like, maybe you just uncovered that there was a keyhole. But, like, I'm having a particular memory. Maybe this has happened to some of you. Maybe that's why they're bringing it up. But there may have been a time when there was separation or a little whatever, and you saw each other again, and you just, like, your body's just, like, to hug, but your body's just, like, hit together. Because there was, like, such a force, like such a magnetic force drawing you together. Okay, any more from this? You know, the Justice card is a big, big card here. Four of Wands, Six of Cups, Justice, the Empress in reverse. You know, this is the feeling that I have to make this right. Because this person is irreplaceable. This person holds the key. It holds a key. And his name is written on his heart. The name, you know, I feel like it's such a weird analogy. But I feel like your name is written on his heart, on the back. And his name is written on your key. And there's this just feeling of, I either make this right or I live with my heart locked up forever. Locked in this cage of, now, is it true? No, not necessarily. It's not true, but that's the way that it feels. And look, we've had the Phoenix twice, and there's a Phoenix on this card too, which is the false twin flame. Do I really believe in false twin flames? No, I don't. I'm more of a catalyst person. I did experience my own catalyst, which was really interesting. I do think this is more about a karmic energy personally. That's the way that it feels. And, you know, karmics are soulmates of yours and his. It's a really hard thing to accept. I don't know how everyone is, but I do know. Why are these in here? But I do know that, you know, you may be able to control your feelings, except when it comes to the karmic. And that's how he feels too. And I'm sorry if that's triggering. It's triggering for me. So it's just a very difficult. Keep showing me this Winged Wise One card. Then you also have the Swan Queen. So angelic help, miraculous aid, transformation, intuition, and patience. I have felt very, very strong angelic energy around. Oh my God. Sacred union, partnership, romance. The High Lord of gratitude and service. Selflessness, humanity, and conscious action. I love that card. And then Camel Boy, small steps, asking for help. I don't know if I said small steps. I feel like I did. The Wise Woman of Wonderland, integrity, compromise. Wow, she's sitting on a mushroom with a white rabbit. Very interesting. So he's holding a lotus flower. And they are kind of like in this portal. And here you can kind of see an eclipse energy, and he's playing a flute. So let's get some Moonology cards. Show the world the real you. Did I say that or not? Believe in the impossible, Blue Moon. Don't let your past hold you back. These are like the exact cards I was just talking about. Nothing is yet set in stone. Bring love into the situation. It's time to release negativity. Look at the bigger picture. Communication is key. You and your loved ones are safe. Bottom of the deck. Expect powerful change. Answers you need are coming, and a fiery climax approaches. Holy moly. So that South Node is getting ready to move out of Libra. Thank God. And into Scorpio. No. I think it moves the other direction into Virgo and Pisces for the North Node. There's a lot of mutable and fixed energy here. I think you guys might go back and forth, feeling very sure and then changeable at times, and that's okay. You have Irene Peace. There is no need to worry. Everything will work itself out. He has Maeve, cycles and rhythms. Honor the cycles of your body, energy levels, and emotions. Did I say that about he takes energy from everyone? I feel like he's healing that. Sekhmet, be strong. You are stronger than you think you are, and your strength assures a happy outcome. And then this is the card that was on the bottom of the deck when I was looking at it. I'm leap of faith. Take a risk and put your heart's true desire into action. So we have had some kind of Fool cards. I think one was, it was the first card to come out on a private reading that I did, and so the energy is very strong. You know, we do have an opportunity to kind of wipe the slate clean here. Pure white dragon from Orion. Golded Christed dragon. I think he got that the other day. I think these two came out the other day. Oh, look at the white and the black. Getting that energy a lot today. Earth and fire dragon. So we have transforms your ascension knowledge into pure wisdom. Process what you know. Act with truth and honesty. Let your wings of light grow and expand. And then we have for him, brings you a higher love so that you can embody the Christ light. And I think that's what we're talking about when we talk about the ascension, to be able to see beyond just your inner child, right? To see your inner child's wounds from kind of a watcher perspective, a soul perspective. Absorbs the Christ light. You are protected. Expand your heart and remain fifth dimensional. And then Thor's red, black, and gold dragon protects you in times of change. A time of rapid transition and transformation. Relax, you are safe. And then we have emerald, compassion, ruby shine, and opal joy. And fairy stone, fertility on the bottom. Just a few more messages and I'll be done. I want to thank you so much for being here and liking, sharing, subscribing. If you want to put a comment or any kind of number or heart in the box, that would be greatly appreciated. You have, when you pass from this world, take nothing with you but your soul and the memories you have shared with those you love. It says, wait, don't rush into it. Allow nature to take its course. And then we have, if you could do anything, what would it be? The answer dwells in your heart, not in your mind. Do you see? Just the heart. For the heart is the gateway to the soul. He knows he has to go through the heart to get to you. Close your eyes and tell yourself that you deserve to feel joyful. You can allow joy into your life regardless of the circumstances you currently find yourself in. All right, that's all for today. Thank you so much. Sending you love. Bye.